Hello and welcome back to the road to Avengers Endgame. We are now, I think, halfway as far as the videos are concerned, but regardless, let's get right on with it and talk about Avengers Age of Ultron. So this is the second Avengers film, also written and directed by Joss Whedon, and reunites all of our...
Whedon! Sorry, it's from Big Bang Theory, I think.
Big Bang Theory.
Sorry.
So it reunites all our favourite characters and to fight this robot villain Ultron. And yeah.
Or artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. So this
he's
film...
not really a robot, he's just artificial intelligence, isn't he?
Sure.
He makes himself into all of this. He's the internet and everything.
Right. So this film came out, had a huge amount of hype surrounding it, obviously, because it's the next Avengers film. We went to see it. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. And everyone was like, not good. And I was like, huh? Really? I was surprised by the reaction to this one. So we went to see it a second time with my mum at the cinema down the pier. And I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this now and see if it's as, like all the weak points everyone's pointing out. And nope, still loved it. I do think that Ultron, as a character, wasn't the most successful. I think with Joss Whedon, he's a very good writer, but he tends to write a lot of his characters the same. They're very witty and have this kind of specific humor about them.
Yeah, but he came from Iron Man. He came from Stark, so he had Stark's humor.
That's a good point, actually, I suppose.
He did say, like, he when they're confronting that guy, Smeagol.
Oh, Claw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smeagol.
Do you want a sweet?
And
candy?
Okay.
Cuttlefish.
Yeah, okay.
I saw this documentary.
Your accent is not that great. And Iron Man comes in and he says something like, "Oh, you're breaking your old man's heart," and then something like, "You don't get anywhere by breaking stuff," or something like that. They say, and then Ultron says, "You clearly haven't made an omelette," and Iron Man goes, "Oh, give me 1 second."
Right. Yeah.
They have the same humor, and he's quoting Stark as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when Cuttlefish is saying, or Cuttlefish, what is it?
Cuttlefish, yeah.
What's his name again?
Claw.
Claw? It's easy to remember. I don't know why I can't. Can't even remember his real name.
He's brilliant, by the way, Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, thank you.
You usually see him in, obviously, the motion capture performance roles, but here he gets to just play a human character, and he's brilliant, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, so he says that he was one of Stark's because he quoted him, because he said that Stark said the very same thing to him. I don't remember what he said, but he has got Stark's humor. Good
point, very good point. But I still think like the design of the mouth being so expressive is weird to me. I mean, I like Ultron. I think James Spader gives him a really cool presence and everything. But by the end of the film, I almost feel like they're just dealing with what... I don't know. Again, I love the film. I give it like 5 stars when it came out. I still kind of stand by that. I love this film. It's just maximum enjoyment for me. I love seeing all the characters together. I love big, heavy stakes. Like, the whole kind of third act of this film is raising a city or a town out of the Earth into orbit and then dropping it onto the planet to cause basically a meteor-level explosion that will wipe out humanity. Like, I love just big, ridiculous, over-the-top, endgame, apocalyptic kind of stakes. And this film presents it in an almost believable fashion. Like, it's a bit ridiculous how quickly Ultron got everything in order for that to happen. Putting all the...
Yeah, but he's got unlimited power.
Unlimited power.
He can just connect all machinery to do everything he wants because he is all machinery. He is the internet and everything like that. But then again, they did disconnect him from the internet, so how did he do that?
I don't know.
How did he keep in...
Like I say, those things don't really bother me, but, I like the way that it almost makes sense. Like, you can almost, let yourself get carried away with the idea and everything. And something that Joss Whedon was saying in the audio commentary, which was really interesting, and I love how kind of open he was, because apparently he didn't have the best time making the film. Marvel were kind of pushing him back a little bit with this one, unlike the first film. There's a lot of stuff with Thor, apparently, where him and Selvig go into the cave and Thor has the vision of the Infinity Stones. Apparently there was a lot more to that, and Marvel wanted to cut it out, something like that. And yeah, so he didn't have the best creative time on the film, apparently. And the audio commentary opens with him saying, like, why did I do another Avengers film? Like, in hindsight, probably not the best idea, and it's just like, wow, okay, he's being really honest here. And that was the end of his Marvel, relationship. He went on to do DC stuff after that. But I can imagine making a film like that is a huge toll, stress-wise, and mounting that big of a production and the scale and everything is probably very, time-consuming and draining. Anyway, losing my train of, not that there's really a good train of thought here, I'm just picking random things to talk about.
Two new characters.
Two new characters.
Want to talk about them?
Yeah, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. What do you think of them?
I love them.
Yeah?
I love Quicksilver. He's not Jackass. What's he called?
Jackass? What?
Kick-Ass?
Oh yeah, he's Kick-Ass, yes. Aaron Taylor Johnson, yeah.
He's great. I don't love the accent. There's actually at one point in the movie where he is alone with her, his sister, and they're twins. And there's this crucial part where there's nobody else around, but they're still speaking in English. And I'm just, because
yeah.
I'm not, English is not my first language. Being Norwegian, in that setting, I would speak Norwegian to my sister.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's just like, no, don't like it.
Yeah.
It's you basically almost saying goodbye, and then you're saying it in English. It's not emotional enough. They could have popped on some subtitles. They do it for the alien languages.
Yeah.
They can do it for their own language. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't pull off the language. I think they pull off the accents quite okay, actually. I think it's believable. It's not like...
It's not over the top.
No, it's not like Despicable Me over the top. But I really like her powers. And how much power she actually has. Like, she could be invincible, really. But obviously she's getting drained and everything.
Yeah.
I love Vision.
Vision is... that's one thing I wanted to say. Like, how a lot of... When Joss Whedon writes the film, every character has really witty dialogue, and they kind of feel the same. I'm not even saying that as a knock, but it's just even like is it Aaron Sorkin? His films, people always say his scripts are amazing. They are, but every character sounds the same to me, and everyone is really witty and always has the right thing to say all the time. But Vision, I think, is the way he's written is brilliant. I think that he's just such a unique character who is...
That's because he's everything.
Yeah, so it's not a human, and he has this kind of weird philosophical take on things, even though he's still trying to process what even his reality is, and he has all this knowledge, and yet he has just been born, and so it's very strange.
Well, I was born yesterday.
I was born yesterday. Yeah, and Paul Bettany is a great actor, and he plays him. He plays him with like a naivety and an innocence, but also like wisdom at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think he's a great character. And yeah, I like the twins too. Scarlet Witch is great, and Elizabeth Olsen's one of my favourite actresses, so I think that she does a great job in the more emotional moments of the film that her character has. And I like the journey where they start out as kind of weapons, and also how you're almost already seeing the split between Tony and Steve, where, Tony Stark is, he's, has no time for these, these twins, because they've done bad things, and yet Captain America empathizes with them throughout the entire film, because he's kind of been the same thing. He's been an experiment, but in a different way. He was willing to be an experiment, but he kind of, I don't know, I just think that the way that he relates to them in some way and tries to get them on the right track is shows the kind of differences there and things like that. Hulk has a bit of a different story in this one, where he's struggling with now the fact he's a full-time Hulk member of the Avengers, where like he has to turn into the Hulk to help the team, and they're devising ways to get him out of that, and he's like, there's a scene with him on the jet where he's like trying to listen to music to calm down and kind of work through the fact that he doesn't want to be the big guy. Yeah, I think there's a point where they go to... where do they go? They go to the shipyard to meet Ultron, and something to do with vibranium, and he stays behind because, he doesn't want to turn into the Hulk. Like, if he can avoid it, then he will. He's there as a worst case scenario.
But he does ask, is this a code green?
Exactly, that's what I mean.
Because
yeah.
it seems like they're struggling, and he's thinking, well, if worse comes to worse, he
exactly.
has to do the job.
Yeah, worst case
because
scenario.
Because he knows that he could probably save their lives.
And Tony also has like what would you call it? Man, words are failing me. What would you call the thing that he has to kind of to combat Hulk? the Hulkbuster suit. It's a safety precaution, a safety measure. So like, okay, if Hulk gets out of control, I've built this suit that can fight Hulk, and that's one of the big set pieces of the film was the Hulkbuster versus Hulk fight, which is awesome, and a real great set piece action scene. And it is fun when you see the heroes face each other. So Iron Man versus Hulk was a fun fight to scene. So fun fight to scene, a fun fight scene to see. What were you going to say? You remembered something?
Yeah, I think the whole hammer thing was funny too,
right?
With Vision and how everyone was trying to lift the hammer, and he's like, "Well, you're not worthy."
Yeah.
And then they're having this discussion, and you don't know what the discussion is. It's him, Iron Man, and Captain America walking down. It's like talking about something. You're like, what are they talking about? It's like, well, he's not really blah blah blah.
He's artificial, so.
Yeah, so that's why he can lift it. If you placed a hammer in an elevator, would it not go up? It's like, yeah.
Is the elevator worthy?
Exactly, so it's just funny how it reveals, it's very well written, that part.
Yeah.
Where you jump into the conversation, and then you're like, what are they talking about? And then just say something, and then you're like, oh, right, they're talking about him holding the hammer.
Yeah.
And how all of them were reacting to it.
Yeah.
And how Captain America almost lifted the hammer.
That's so
and
funny.
Thor is like, you see him like, oh, nothing.
Yeah.
He saw it move.
he's I love Chris Hemsworth. He's so funny.
He's funny.
There's
They have a very good chemistry, all of them, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're very close because they've been working together for so many years. And you notice that film by film.
Yeah.
But in this one, I think their chemistry is like really gone up.
Mm-hmm.
You notice how much closer they are and stuff compared to the first Avengers movie.
And you get that kind of party scene, which kind of serves at the beginning of the film to show, like, okay, here's the Avengers, they're a team, they kick some ass, they kind of, you think kind of, win and beat the bad guys, and then they have this party afterwards, and so you see them at their highest, where, like, they've done another mission, it's all going well, and then everything goes to shit, and then, they're faced with another huge test, which comes directly from Tony meddling with things he shouldn't be meddling with. Mm-hmm. And Joss Whedon said in the audio commentary, the way he sees it is that Tony is the villain of the film. Obviously not in a black and white sense, but in kind of a shades of grey sense, where he's got good intentions. He's trying to protect the world. He sees everything that happened in the first Avengers film, aliens coming from a wormhole. He wants to try and protect the world the best he possibly can with his brilliant mind, and so he tries to think of a way to do that, and Ultron is the way to do that. And he uses Loki's scepter, the mind gem, one of the Infinity Stones, to power this. And it creates Ultron, who ultimately assimilates Jarvis, and, the AI takes over. So really, Tony created this. And there's a scene when they're all arguing about it, and Tony just starts laughing. And they're like, what are you laughing for? Like, this is not a laughing matter. And apparently Robert Downey Jr. was like, oh my god, that's exactly what I do in real life when I get caught out on something. I just get nervous and just start laughing and trying to make a joke out of it. So like he really bought into that moment for Tony. And there's lots of little great moments in the film. Like tiny little, like funny bits where, I can't remember the actual setup, but it's Thor, Stark is there, and they're talking about girlfriends basically, like, oh, what's happening with Jane and all that, and where's Pepper? And then, like, at the end of the scene, Thor just turns to Tony Stark and says, Jane is better. I love little bits like that. But overall, I love the film. I love that it's more of an international, global film. Like, it goes to loads of different countries. Norway, technically. It's just a little room and little hard drives and stuff. But they go to Korea. They filmed in Europe for the Sokovia stuff at the end of the film.
We got pretty good Wi-Fi, though. Like we do.
Right. Yeah.
They said something about the best Wi-Fi in the world or something.
Yeah.
Connection or
power
supply or whatever.
Sure.
I don't think we have that facility though.
Do you think the woman
But yes, I'm pretty sure she was Norwegian.
Okay.
It sounded very Norwegian.
Yeah, I was going to ask
and
the
I was
question.
like, wow, it's not over-exaggerated, but it's pretty much the way Norwegians talk.
Yeah.
So either she got some coaching or they just got a Norwegian girl to do it.
Yeah.
She looks Norwegian too, so
yeah.
I'll look that up.
I love a lot of the fight sequences. I do think there's a bit where Quicksilver is running around and he grabs Thor's hammer or something, or he tries to, and he gets pulled down. And it's just like, because I can't remember which, I think, no, Days of Future Past came out a year before this, and they have Quicksilver in the movie, in the X-Men universe, and there's an amazing scene in that film. You listening? Would you agree?
I don't
No,
know.
not even listen to what I'm saying. So I would say that the X-Men Days of Future Past version of Quicksilver, as far as the visual effects and the showing that character doing all the slow motion stuff, was amazing. Like, they nailed that scene. So when they do it in Ultron, it's like, it's not it's not Days of Future Past, is it? So that kind of unfortunately reflects a little bit poorly on that. But the final fight sequence, third act
Norwegian.
of the film, Norwegian. The final third act of the film with all the fighting scenes are really well done. There's a big shot where they show all of the Avengers fighting all the Legionnaire robots, which is meant to be like the big group shot. And it's not quite as cool or as iconic as the first Avengers film when they're all stood in a circle, but it's still okay.
I think that part is better than the opening shot where they're all fighting.
Okay. I like that one better, actually, the
I
opening
don't know,
shot.
when I'm watching when we jump right into it, and I'm so aware of it all being one shot as well, and then it's like, it's not bad, but I feel so distracted by it, but when they're in that little church room, I feel more into the fight, if you know what I mean. And so it had more of an impact, and I think maybe it looked better too.
Yeah.
Because it had more actual machines that were already 3D, whereas in the first shot there was a lot of real people, I think, as well. Maybe.
I like all the Hawkeye stuff, seeing his family, expanding his character in that sense. Again, more tension with Tony and Steve. I really like the relationship between Bruce and Natasha, which develops a lot more in this film. And yeah, I just think that the character work is really well done, even though it's a film that probably shouldn't slow down too much for those moments, but it does.
The reveal of Hawkeye's family, did you say that?
I like the whole sequence at the farm and seeing his family and seeing his other side, and
knowing that it was his last mission as well.
His last mission, which makes you think he's going to die, which kind of is a big switcheroo.
They built that up very well. I was actually shocked when the thing
You didn't
happened.
see that coming. And I really like at the end...
he was talking to the freaking audience. I can say that.
I like at the end she gets a text from Hawkeye. His new child has been born, and he's named it... The middle name is Pietro. Quicksilver, so he kind of named...
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's like a blink and you'll miss it moment, which is a nice touch, I think.
Fat.
Oh, yeah.
When Natalia receives a picture or a video of the baby, because he was supposed to be a she, and it was supposed to be Natalia.
Oh, yeah.
But then it's Nathaniel, and she said traitor to her belly when he wasn't born yet. Yeah. So she receives the video, and she looks at him, and then she's just like, fat.
Yeah, that's...
It's like, all babies are fat, but like, just like she's still pissed off that it turned out to be a boy. Yeah. So funny.
I think one of my my favorite part of the film is the very end with Vision and Ultron in this small wood, and it's the last Ultron, machine left, and they're having this discussion, and he's saying how mankind are doomed, and Vision is like, yep. And he's like, I love the line, but a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts. Fucking great line, and it's just a really nice moment and scene. And yeah, I still love the film. I think Ultron maybe could be, I don't know how you would do it better, but in watching it again, I do think that he's not the strongest. Entertaining at times, but maybe a little bit hollow overall. But I just love the overall package of the film and all the characters, and yeah, so... Anything else you'd like to add about Age of Ultron? I was thinking the final moment with Ultron and Wanda, Scarlet Witch, is great when she... it's a bit kind of on the nose when she rips his heart out or whatever, but her acting in that scene is fantastic, and you really feel the pain.
That he's dead and she collapses and all of her power just wipes everything out, and I'm like, she's badass. Yeah, I wanted to say the outtakes are funny.
Yeah, we watched the outtakes.
Selvig.
Oh god, yeah.
And they're walking down the stairs, and he's saying bye to this girl he's working with.
Like a student.
It's like, okay, see you tomorrow at 8. Bring your bathing suit. And then, okay, see you tomorrow at 8. You don't have to bring your mother this time. And see you tomorrow at 8. Bring your sister. He's such a perv.
Yeah, it's...
And I'm just thinking, he waits until they're like only 3 steps down, And you know that they have to go up to the top of the steps and do it again. They didn't have that much in this movie, did he?
No.
So it's probably dragging it out of
We're
it.
just improvising, just having
I
fun,
know,
I guess.
I love it.
Yeah.
But you can't keep any of that, so it's
No,
bad improvisation.
So, Age of Ultron, yeah, still love it. As I said, been a bit of a rambling video, this one, but yeah. So, there we go. That's Avengers, Age of Ultron. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Oh, sorry.